You could suggest that a lot of the outrageousness that is what Donald Trump has led with in his rallies and in his statements and in his surrogate statements, it's all designed to both motivate the base, as is often said, but also to bait Harris and her surrogates to have to respond. Now they are encumbered with another thing they have to talk about that they hadn't intended to talk about. So it is with the Puerto Rico thing. It was really a game, set, match situation once Tony Hinchcliffe had made the comment about the garbage. It was his comment that really reintroduced the word garbage into the dialogue and the discourse. Now it's all about garbage, and Trump does his garbage man thing, and Biden corrects what he had said. And so let's just go back and you tell me, I mean, has this taken the Democrats off message, or does it underscore sort of the lunacy and the toxicity of Donald Trump? Albert, play what we had planned. I mean, I guess the first statement was from Joe Biden, right? And he was saying something that was in response to the statement from Hinchcliffe, which was a comedy bit. And you know, I'm not, by the way, not excusing it at all. I thought I couldn't believe he said it. It was horrifying and stupid. But it was very Tony Hinchcliffe too. Hinchcliffe is a completely inappropriate comic for that kind of thing. As it turns out, that rally was full of hate and FUs to everything that was in any sense a reliable kind of smooth comportment of the way you would do a political rally. It was, the whole thing was just tear down the scenery. And Hinchcliffe was in that same flavor. Go ahead and play a little bit of Biden's response.
Or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Yeah.
Or Puerto Rico. Where
now, they're saying is his supporters, apostrophe S, right? That supporter. But again, it sounded like he was talking about all of the supporters. They went back and they said, no, he was talking about that supporters. His supporters, apostrophe S comment. Okay. Anyway, now you're in a back and forth and trying to correct this. Go ahead. What's next, Albert? After the Biden oops, you end up with the correction. You end up with Kamala Harris, who I thought spoke really well on this. But you end up with Trump on the garbage truck. We already played you, if you missed it, some of the Elon Musk comments he had from the garbage truck and on the Joe Biden comments.
So former President Trump puts this orange vest on, and he gets on the truck and takes the garbage truck to a rally where apparently Brett Favre is as well. And it's at the rally that he talks about this garbage comment.
Okay, go ahead, Albert, from the rally. Here we go.
Thank you very much. So this outfit, you know, is when he called us all garbage. How stupid. What a stupid word. That blows deplorable away, don't you think? Of course, I thought irredeemable when she said deplorable or irredeemable. I thought irredeemable was actually worse, but deplorable seemed to catch up. But this garbage stuff blows it away. So I'm in this beautiful plane. I'm enjoying myself, have a wonderful suit on.
They just want to cheer. I mean, he's only beginning a story really right now. They just want to cheer. They're loaded with energy, you know. So he's telling the stories. I was in the plane, in a beautiful plane, and they come to me and they go, sir, and they tell me about this garbage thing. And I would, do you want to be in a garbage truck? We think maybe you should be in a garbage truck. And they pull it together very quickly, and it's amazing. My people pull together a garbage truck so quickly. That's exactly what he said. You want to hear him say? Go ahead. Okay, here you go.
Joe Biden's comments were the direct result of Kamala's decision to portray everyone who isn't voting for her, which is a lot of people, as evil and subhuman. And we know it's really what they believe, because look at how they've treated you. They treat you like garbage. They treat our whole country like garbage, with open borders, with all of the horrible things they've done to hurt our country, inflation that should have never happened, allowing Russia to go into Ukraine, October 7th in Israel. All of these things would have never happened if you had a different president.
You know, it's interesting as he speaks, I think about what we were just speaking of in this last hour, which is Kamala Harris and her people have to respond to his lunacy. And that's why I say some of this throws them off message. Yeah. But they also have to speak about their plans, because that's what the media is asking for. They're asking for her plans. They don't ask Donald Trump for his plans. October 7th never would have happened. The economy is garbage, and which is just not true. I mean, he's been asked nothing in the way of backing up these incendiary remarks. And the reason that's important is it reflects where we are as a media culture. We're holding her, Kamala Harris, and the Democrats to a standard that we're not holding the Republicans to. So they're allowed to just keep throwing these fireballs at her. And yet she has been quite restrained, even as she has been critical of Donald Trump. And she's pointed out that January 6th and undermining the democracy. She has not really been as, toxic in her comments, as edgy in her comments as is he. I mean, to call his comments edgy, it's sort of being polite about it. So my point in that is, I think the Democrats did need and do need to make this about Donald Trump. When this thing started, she came into the campaign and got a huge boost of enthusiasm, as you'll remember. That enthusiasm brought Kamala Harris up to even with Donald Trump, from lagging behind. Then the media began banging the drum. We need to hear specifics. We need to hear specifics. Even as there were no specifics from Donald Trump. She then gave them specifics. You know, she produced a plan for the economy. It included incentives for buying a home. It included incentives for going to school and education, supplements of that sort. And there was more. But Trump wasn't called upon to do any of this stuff. This is the double standard of the American media. So then we get to him just hurling stuff at her. Trump calls America a garbage can. Right. Thank you. That's exactly right. He used that comment in response to this whole garbage thing. Obviously, he's used the word garbage, and he's called the Democrats garbage. And again, that's another part of the double standard, and that's been around now for months as well. But all I'm trying to say is, as we get to the finish line, in the beginning, I felt we did need to know more about Kamala Harris, not for me. I mean, as I've told you, I'd vote for Albert before I'd vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a total incompetent, but he's a dangerous incompetent. I mean, when arrogance and ignorance meets, that's a huge crash in that intersection, and that is who Donald Trump is. He is both ignorant and he is arrogant, filled with ego and bluster and pomposity, and with no facts or information or plan or strategy about really doing anything for the American people who he doesn't care about. So, boy, to the point, I think you need to make this about him. And so when I hear Anthony Davis say the more he talks, the better it is for Kamala Harris, I agree. I think Donald Trump is his own worst enemy. But you have to make this election about him. So when you hear, well, it's not about him, it's about what Kamala Harris can. No, it is about him. It is about him. He is one huge toxic waste dump. And he's about to move that back into the White House with his conspiracy theorists and his people who want to dismantle the regulatory administrative state. The only protections there are on the environment, the only protections there are on consumers, they all come out of that regulatory state, the administrative state. You must have, weak as they are, you must have EPA enforcement of so many of these things related to the toxification of the environment. You can't just say drill, baby, drill. I mean, that's really become the refrain. Drill, baby, drill, I'll remind you, is not only a ridiculous thing to say. I mean, I guess it reflects some energy policy. We're already drilling to the max. But drill, baby, drill doesn't even address the price of energy. I've mentioned this to you before. When you drill and you pump oil out of the ground, or you frack it out, in the case of natural gas, tell me where that goes. Does it go to you at the gas pump? No. Does it stay in this country? No. It goes onto the world market. I think if you want to drill in this country, then it should stay in this country. That's my radical view. But that's not the way it works. It goes on the world market. So drill, baby, drill doesn't even make any sense. It doesn't track. But this is the vacuous bumper sticker politics of the GOP right now. And enough people swallow it that they show up at these rallies and they buy this stuff, I mean, in massive numbers. So that's just a thought about where we are as we're less than a week out of this campaign. And,
The Mark Thompson Show.
And on to the madness that follows. And by the way, the edge that the GOP and the Trump people had on the economy, and the economy was the number one issue, is now beginning to no longer be decisive. Trump remains the more trusted candidate in terms of handling the economy, but Harris has closed much of that gap. This is according to recent pollings. Large majorities of voters rate the economy as only fair or poor, even though inflation has cooled and many other traditional indicators are positive. This from the New York Times. But Kamala Harris has made some gains on the economy. In the September Times Siena poll, likely voters favored Trump's handling of the economy by 13 percentage points. That lead shrunk to just 6 percentage points in the latest Times Siena poll. That was just from last week. So other pollsters have shown similar gains for Vice President Harris on this issue of economics. So maybe some of what we're talking about, some of what seems nakedly clear is filtering down to the electorate and likely voters. We will see. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.